I suppose. Good morning, everyone. This meeting of the Sawyer County Land, Water, and Forest Resources Committee is hereby called to order. May we have the roll call, please?
Steve Karianen.
Here.
Randy Newman.
Here.
Kay Wilson. Here. Marshall Savitsky. Here. Steve Longtine.
Here.
Alice and John Jack is excused, and you have a quorum.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Certification of compliance with the open meetings law.
This meeting was noticed to the media and public as required by Section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. The meeting agenda is set. At this time, members of the public are given the opportunity to address the committee. We have Linda Zilmer here.
Good morning, Linda Zilmer, property owner in Edgewater. My public comments today have to do with the 2027 budget and then also more accountability and reporting during this year. I've made public comment at other committee meetings and the board meeting about having a turnover of 3 county administrators in 10 years. And with that switch to county administrator form of government, the county board as a whole has lost touch with the details of how departments function, the funds, the revenues that flow in, as well as the expenditures going out. So I really think it's important for both returning supervisors and the new ones on the board to get grounded in this budget process. And as I was kind of surprised, I went to Monday's Economic Development and Extension Committee meeting. There were 6 preliminary budgets on that agenda, and not one of them was gone through. So I hope today that this is a different committee. You will listen to your department heads and maybe also ask for additional exhibits, like how many employees are in each department? What are their pay grades? What are their pay amounts? What revenues fund that department other than property taxes? And what are the requirements of the county to comply to get that outside funding? There's a whole framework that with ongoing turnover in administration, it's lost, and I think services suffer, and you would be better prepared to make decisions if you fully understood those things. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here for public comments? No one online? Okay, with that, we will consider approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Newman and a second by Mr. Savitsky. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Events.
No applications this month.
Very good. Move to item 10, Register of Deeds report.
All right, good morning. Our report shows from June and July, our transfer fees were over $141,000, which was more than August of 2025, total just over $112,000. So we are up by $30,000. The sales have been just amazing. Quite a bit of over $1 million and $2 million sales, just countless ones that I can't, it's just crazy, the amount of sales that are going through. We've been busy with, I noted down here that we've been busy with our Tapestry, which is an online account where people can download their documents and with a credit card or debit card. And so they've been using that a lot, instead of doing it through the mail, sending in payments like that. So we've been really busy with just, in the office and everything, with people coming to the, paying their taxes and everything like that. Noting the budget for 2027 for Register of Deeds, I have 1 full-time deputy and she is deputized, so she does all the stuff in the office that I do. And so we really can't have anyone just coming in and working from another department. So my budget is pretty much the same as last year with just a little slight increase. So if you have any questions.
Any questions? Well done.
Thank you.
Land records and county surveyor reports. We have those reports.
All right, so you can read this report here. Basically, we've got a new hire in the office, Chase. He's been in for 2 weeks, shy of 2 weeks now. We had Kimberly, who prepares these reports. She took another job, and her last day was this Monday. So the office is now, Land Records is Chase and Brian. So let's see. So basically, the real property lister position is the statutorily required duties in our office. My duties are kind of changing a bit. Without Kimberly around, I'm supporting, the real property lister position so that we can, so that Chase can learn and, grow into the role. But for the first year or so, the role has like a throughout the year schedule of tasks. So we'll have to go through a whole year before he's, seen everything. Also during this time, we're down an employee, and Kimberly was remote, but she took care of, the role of supporting the real property lister and doing the parcel mapping and parcel updates. So we'll need to replace her position, but we'll work towards that. As far as budget discussion, our budget consists of software yearly maintenance costs for the software that we use, for the websites that we use to display data for the public. Our other costs are office equipment, computers, and training. We do go to at least 1 or 2 conferences throughout the year, 1 or 2 employees. We do get some grant funding. There's the Wisconsin Land Information Association, Wisconsin Land Information Program grant. We get grant funding through that pays for our large projects, which, are capturing GIS data like aerial photography, LiDAR, that sort of thing. So that gets covered under that grant usually. We've got a new grant this year. It's the NG 911 GIS grant from the Wisconsin Department of Military Affairs and the Emergency Communications Center, I think, something like that. The dispatch center has been transitioning over to NextGen 911 over the years. We're fully on NextGen 911, and there's grant money to help, facilitate that, change and to support the ongoing efforts to, fulfill the requirements that are new now. So we've got that grant money. We don't have any projects lined up for it currently, but yeah, that's what our budget kind of looks like.
I see you do have a CIP request for a new receiver, a GPS receiver.
Yeah, that's for the surveyors department. That's,
we're hoping to replace one of the two GPS receivers we have, because both of them are 10 years old, and with electronics, that's kind of hitting the end of the road. So
Sure.
there's no more replacement parts available for it, so the manufacturer told us once something goes wrong, there's nothing we can do with it. So we're just trying to be proactive and get a new one in the mix while everything's still working,
Do you have
so.
a cost estimate for that?
What did I tell you, Mike, like 35, something like that?
3,500?
1,000,
Wishful thinking.
yeah.
Okay. And Brian, as far as the ability of the two of you to do what needs to be done, you're confident it can and will be done?
The two of us?
Yeah.
No,
Oh, okay.
no. No, so our office has been trying to operate, would like to operate under 3 people at least. In the past, there's been about 5 or 6 people in that office. So we've operated as 1 or 1.5 or 2 now, but 3 would be helpful. 4 might be something, but 3 would be helpful. Like, that's what we have had, so.
Any estimate on what budget ramifications, what you think needs to be done would imply?
With a new employee? Like what an employee costs?
3 are already budgeted.
3 are
We've
already
had
budgeted.
3 for years.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I administer the office, but I also do all, work throughout the day. So I guess I don't know how much an employee costs specifically. Leave that up to the admin department mostly.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Quick question on that 911 grant. What
Yeah.
can that be spent on? Can it be spent on upgrading systems?
Yeah, so it can be spent on, computer systems, whether that's something over in dispatch. People,
Radio towers, stuff like that? I mean,
be a good question. I'm not sure. I'm thinking about computers, but, basically it needs to go towards enabling dispatch and their communication with the addressing, so.
okay, I was just wondering because we're trying to get them new upgrades on them antennas for the communication system, and it incurred some extra costs, so I was just curious if that could be applied off that grant or not.
Yeah, I'll write down comm towers, see if that's something.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else? Very good. Let's move on to forestry then. Item 12, county forestry report. Oh, I'm sorry. Surveyor report. Anything else on surveyor report?
Yeah, I didn't really have anything to add other than we already talked about the GPS. Other than that, our budget was gonna stay the same, so.
All right, thank you. Now we'll move on to the county forestry report.
Okay, for the month of July, we did have 13 sales listed as active. We are picking up a lot more activity as the month has gone on here in August. Conditions in the woods right now really couldn't be better as far as access, so we've got a lot of contractors moving into a lot of ground that they wouldn't normally be able to access right now with the dry weather. So production has been pretty good. Sale value on file right now is just over 4.7 million. Our revenue in July, we were at 170,000. So our year-to-date, we're just shy of 1.35 million. We are well on target for our revenue estimate for the year. We do have the volumes listed there for the month. Sale activity is on target, or sale inspections is on target for the level of activity. So a lot of sales going, so a lot of inspections and scaling and things like that. Recon, we're over target there. We didn't have any G&A hours in July at all. Oak wilt restriction is off as of July 15th, and we are beginning our monitoring for new infestations and watching our previous infestation sites to see if we have to have further treatments on those. Nothing new to report for bike trails or Berkey Trail. ATV, UTV trails are in fair condition. I'll let Tim speak to that a little bit more, but we did start our new budget cycle on that. Nothing new on parks, other than a lot of activity, and no further info on the carbon credit project right now. So if anybody has any questions, that's all I have for my monthly.
I thought those oak wilt restrictions went into like October.
Not for us, we go April to July. There is recommendations that they have for people to go to October. That's optional.
Is that what you recommend me to do? Is that what I should do?
Well, it depends on
Okay.
it depends on the situation. If it's a yard tree or things like that, you're better off waiting, but for us, we go with July 15th, so.
Very good. There's nothing else on the report. Let's talk about the budget request.
Okay, so our budget, is pretty, our base budget's pretty simple. We have salaries, timber sales establishment costs, which is tree marking, paint, and associated equipment. That's about $14,000. And the other big one is fuel, which is $10,000 for the year. Those numbers haven't changed a whole lot. Well, we haven't been able to change them, but we've been able to produce with those numbers. The big part of our budget is usually the grant projects, ATV, snowmobile. That's all in and out money, but that's probably $500,000 to $600,000 a year. That's going through for maintenance and special project grants. Other than that, there's no major changes or any increase. We do have 2 CIP requests for next year. Our big one is $30,000 for replanting, primarily in our red pine. We're just getting into the replanting of our pine stands as they're beginning to age out, reaching the rotation age. We've pretty much been living off the plantings from the CCC crews in the 30s on the forest. So our costs for replanting is from site prep to trees is right around $500 an acre. So with our allowable cut, we're looking at doing 40 to 60 acres in a year. We did have an overstory removal on a pine stand cut this year. So our revenue that we're pulling in just on the overstories at the end is pushing $6,000 an acre. So it's kind of it's a pretty good return. It takes some time, but like I said, we're getting to the point that we've got to start rotating some of these stands out. So, and our other item is park maintenance. As I mentioned, the Hatchery Park, it just gets an incredible amount of traffic, more so every year. I did apply for a grant a few years ago as part of the COVID relief for recreational areas that we were denied on. So this is our first time asking for any funding for the park. We've just been getting by with time, but with the amount of use it gets, it's starting to get a little bit run down for what we can do. So for this year, we're looking at around $9,000 for the split rail fence out there is all rotting out and falling apart. That's a big part. We do need to replace like 10 picnic tables, and we'd like to reseed some of the open lawn area out there. I don't know if people have been out there, but you can still see the concrete runs. They keep popping up in the lawn area. It holds a lot of water. The guys get some pretty good air on the lawnmower when they're mowing it. So, well, yeah. Well, our one lawnmower guy, he goes really fast. So, but that's our ask for next year. Just trying to put a little bit back into that park, because the use out there is impressive, really. So
Great.
Greg, is the building still strong?
The building is in pretty good shape, yep. The logs are good. I think the Lions Club restained that probably 4 or 5 years ago, I think. They still put in a little bit of maintenance out there too, but the building itself is in pretty good shape.
Okay, guess we'll move on to Wisconsin DNR report.
I'm Pat Zimmer, Forestry team leader filling in for Craig. He's out of town on a training assignment today. So I think he submitted a report, just a little bit of information for the month of July. Our staff primarily have been working on timber sale establishment, assisting with some sale administration. And they've begun doing some site prep work. We're going to be looking at doing some burn breaks on the county forest as well. And then as everybody knows, it's been hot and dry, getting hotter and drier. Really not any great chances for significant rain in the near term forecast. So some of our staff been kind of pulling off some of the forestry duties, assisting with fire suppression operations. We've had a couple of staff assisting out of state on some fire assignments as well nationally. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. July kind of starts the clock over on our county hour time standard goals again. So we're held one more year to the 1,700 hours that we'll be working to hit that this year as well. So any questions for me? Otherwise, that's the end of my report.
Any questions? Thank you much.
I had a question about fire. Is there restrictions on open burning campfires?
No restrictions other than what's currently been in place. Whenever the ground's not completely snow covered, campfires, warming fires, cooking fires are allowed, must be in attendance. Anything for debris burning requires a permit, check daily on what the restrictions are. Typically it's 6 p.m. to midnight, but you have to check online for that.
At what
That's
point
an
do we
annual
start doing restrictions?
We're still quite a ways out actually from getting into any kind of like red flag type restrictions. So just monitor the websites, and you'll start hearing that coming out in the radio, online. We'll start advertising some of those things, but we're quite a ways out yet from that happening.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no one's here from the U.S. Forest Service, so we'll move on to recreational trails report.
Morning, everybody. Tim Davison here. As everybody's talked, it's really dry. Trails are very dusty, real hard to work on right now. We need moisture bad. They're rough. Every time we get a drop of moisture, we send graders out to do any kind of maintenance that we can. We've got several projects ongoing right now. The hardest part of my job right now is trying to find contractors to do work. There's all this work out there, but there's no contractors to do it. And if you do find a contractor, they're 6 months out. So we're trying our best, but under these conditions, it's difficult. On the up note, we did have the trail counters out. We did some analyzation of it. It's not 100%, but ridership from last year, winter, summer, over to this year, winter, summer so far, the 12 months incurring is up about 50 to 75%. So it's really good news. A lot of that has to do with weather, because last winter we actually had more of a winter than we did the previous two, but the summer ATV stuff is up quite a bit. Tuscobia Trail's up significantly, travel on the Tuscobia. In the Moose Lake area, travel's up significantly. In the reservation, it's pretty stagnant. We're not seeing a lot of increases. The verbal talk about that is that if we could finish getting roads and routes opened up, it would be a great benefit for everybody. I think we'd get more riders down in that area. There's certain parts of the reservation that we don't have funding to work on trails, so we can't work on trails. And it's okay now when it's dry, but as soon as it gets wet, there's mud holes that are probably 4 feet deep. So people do get stuck in them. And we need to get that cured as soon as we can. Other than that, everything looks like it's going up and up. We are trying to do some brushing if we can keep equipment working. Got equipment breakdowns on that. and we've done one rehab, and we're working on getting a couple more done yet this year. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item 13, zoning and conservation report.
So as part of the zoning and conservation report, conservation staff has been busy with additional site visits, including NR 135 pit inspections, renewal of notary, or public notary for Tim Seidel, and then planning of our Land, Water, Forest Resource Committee fall tour. We do have a date set on that. That is September 16th. That fall tour will be a chance for you members to take a guided tour with staff throughout the county to look and see of our ongoing and upcoming projects, conservation projects within the county. As far as my other conservation updates, and again, we'll have more information about that fall tour, but I just want to, again, keep it in your calendar there for September 16th. As far as my other department updates, I'm going to kind of switch how I've been giving department updates and really kind of focus back on our land and water resource management plan. So you can see some of the goals that were included as part of that land and water resource management plan, as well as those objectives and accomplishments that have been completed by staff over the last month. So that's how I'm going to end up kind of structuring those conservation updates moving forward. And again, if you have any questions about those goals or objectives, I can go into further detail on those. I think one of the bigger ones to highlight there is we are planning on doing an annual native plant sale, and we've done always our spring tree sale. And that's a good program. We get, cost of trees at a lower rate that individuals then can buy them at that lower rate. We're not making money on that program, but we've never had something for plants. It's always been the tree variety. So we are looking at doing an annual plant sale as well for those individuals that may want to buy native plant species at a lower cost rate. So we are looking at firing that up as well.
I like the way you've outlined your objectives, and then you can put your accomplishments behind those objectives and tie it all together. So, well done.
So that's kind of the update of the report, unless there's any additional questions on that. I don't think I have to read it line by line. You guys can read as well, so.
Very good.
Then moving on to our next item, this would be for the Healthy Lakes and Rivers program. This is the DNR grant resolution. We have several landowners that have reached out to the Conservation Department that are looking at doing these specialized projects. These landowners would complete the work and provide us receipts of these specialized projects. We would then reimburse the landowner up to $1,000 per qualifying project, and then the DNR would reimburse us that amount. So this is somewhat of a pass-through grant. So we are hoping to submit out for this grant, get the grant funding available from the DNR, have landowners do the specialized project. We pay $1,000 per specialized project, then reimburse that money back from the grant process. This does require approval of this committee to authorize me to secure and submit out for that grant as part of the Department of Natural Resources.
I'll make a motion that we pass the Sawyer County Healthy Lakes and Rivers program.
I would second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Newman and a second by Mr. Longtime. Is there any discussion on this or questions? If not, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Jay, what qualifies for a specialized project?
So this would be for an increased buffer zone, so natural shoreline vegetation. There's other ones as far as fish habitats for like tree drops. Now generally you're not dropping a tree that's right on a shore, but you're either one that's leaning, diseased, dying, and dead that you can then anchor that to the shoreline and use that as part of a fish habitat, or actually bring in a tree from outside of the shoreline area to use as a fish habitat project. There's like 5 qualifying events, and I should have looked this up. But another one is when you're having kind of like sheet erosion coming down a hillside, whether it's like a compacted walkway or something, there are projects where you can, berm that area up to basically alleviate that flow or that velocity of water going down the hill. So it does, again, I'll just look it up real quick, because there is like 5 separate projects that qualify for it. Fish sticks, native plantings, diversion practices such as, like I talked about, that sheet erosion coming down a hill or a larger amount of water coming down the hill. You can actually do diversion projects of that. Rock infiltration and rain gardens. Those all, again, are practices that help the elimination of either water, nutrients, or pollution from getting into the water, or further exploring and expanding habitat for fish and other wildlife species.
Hey Jay, quick question. What's rock infiltration?
So rock infiltration is similar practices like a rain garden. It would be something that you're not, just having a downspout that would run off of the lawn and then run down to the water. It's something where you're diverting that water and entirely holding it on property so that it can, percolate back into the ground surface as opposed to running down and into the lake.
How would the general public know about this project?
We'll put additional information out. We had several that reach out to us. Now, these projects right now, these Healthy Lakes and Rivers projects, they can be done by a certain lake association, a certain lake district. There's another type of municipality. I don't think it's a town, but I know lake associations can already apply for this grant on themselves. So if you had like the Round Lake Association or Round Lake Property Owners Association, and if they wanted to apply for this grant, and then certain people on the lake wanted to do these projects, they could request for that grant funding. We've had other individuals where, the lake associations aren't maybe as active, and they're wanting the county to basically be the sponsor of the grant, and then still go through the project. So there are other municipalities and other entities that can already secure this grant funding, but this is a kind of a more encompassing one now at the county level. We've looked at this before, but it was always kind of difficult for a county to secure the funding. They kind of loosened that up a little bit, not that the county can apply for these grants. I don't think they were seeing a lot of lake associations applying for these grants in the past, but this program has been around for at least a decade. Yep.
Okay, if that's all on that, we'll go on to the budget request then, Jay.
Yeah, and I'll kind of do both zoning and conservation. As far as conservation, we have 2 full-time employees, and then myself, I'm kind of split 50-50. As part of our 2 conservation employees, we do get a grant from the state that pays for 1.25 positions. So 100% of Tim's salary is covered by the grant, and 25% of Natalie's salary is covered by the grant. That's been in place for eons and continues to be as such. As far as the conservation side of stuff is the general budget, nothing is really changing on that front. The CIP request on the conservation side is where we have our larger ticketed items. We've talked about the Fish Trap Dam replacement project. We've had money set aside for that for the last couple years. We finally got the dam plans approved from the Department of Natural Resources. We're looking at submitting out bids for that come October, November of this year, with hopefully lining up a contractor then for either spring of 2027 or fall of 2027, depending on what that contractor's time schedule is like. So I've just moved that request from 2026 to now 2027 as part of the Fish Trap Dam replacement project. We do have other always, recurring costs as they relate to dam inspections. Those generally run around the $4,000 range. This coming year, we have the Tiger Cat Dam inspection as well as the Upper Bruny River Dam inspection, so I've included those. And then we got notification from the DNR a few months ago about Billy Boy. Billy Boy is as a significant hazard dam in that DNR has basically viewed that if this dam was to fail, would there be other inundated structures further downstream in the Coudray River? Well, one of the projects or one of the infrastructures they look at is the Highway 70 bridge. And if the dam was to fail, more than likely that bridge would be inundated with water and unpassable. Because it is a significant hazard dam, when we originally ran the model, we ran it as a Q100, which is a 100-year storm event. The DNR now wants this run as a 500-year storm event, which is the 0.05% chance, or 0.05% chance that you would get that type of significant rainfall in any given year. Running this new model through the dam, and I don't know all the engineering aspects that are determined with it, but ultimately it costs about $35,000 to run this model. And the DNR is basically forcing the county that we have to do this, or we have to replace the dam. So we're reaching out to SEH, which was the first consultant that had done the Q100 model, to see if they can rerun this through as a 500-year storm event, and that is the estimate we got back from them. So I do have that as part of a CIP request. And then the other ones that we are, seeing, the Birch Lake Dam. So Birch Lake Dam is actually in Washburn County, but there was a older joint agreement memorandum of understanding that Sawyer County is liable for 50% of the cost of Birch Lake dams, because yes, the dam is in Washburn County, but the majority of water that holds back, like Chautauqua and Birch Lake, is in Sawyer County. So we pay half of the cost. There are some repairs and additional inspections and additional engineering costs that are going to be needed on that dam over the next few years. So I've included a $7,500 annual recurring cost with Birch Lake Dam. We get an annual bill from them, and it's not a fun bill to open up, so. Other zoning general items, I know we have, some previously approved CIP requests from 2026 that we're kind of moving to 2027. The other general budget items for zoning, slight increases in training. We have a couple new employees, and training isn't getting any cheaper to send these individuals to get the required training that they need to be specialized in their individual field. So I've kind of bumped up training just a little bit, and our publication costs as well as postage costs keep going up. So some minor adjustments in that as well.
Okay, very good. Any questions on the budget committee? All right, with that, we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Consider offer for tax deed property below appraised value.
So this, I was going to present to you guys a request here to lower the asking or the offering price to under the appraisal. But things have changed since then. We have gotten an offer and accepted an offer for $565 for this property. So this doesn't need to happen, but I wanted to report that, yeah, we accepted an offer and we can move on this Crier Lane property.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was a nice little thing last Thursday, Friday morning, so.
I suspect there may be a little buyer's remorse.
I don't know. We always thought the property was a pretty nice property and was, it was appraised at $515. We had it out there for $550. And originally we did get some offers at $550, but we just couldn't sell it at the time because of all the personal belongings that were out there. So we kind of held off and didn't accept any offers until we got all that stuff out of there. And since then it's been pretty scarce. 500, I think, was our best offer. And so that's why I was going to do this, but we had a good offer, so.
Very good.
How much of that do we get to keep?
Not a lot of it.
Yeah.
Just everything is made whole with the county. We get to keep all the back taxes are getting paid, the penalties, the interest, all of that gets taken out of the proceeds. We have some fees that are associated with selling the land that we get to put on there. And we also are, all the costs involved with the personal belongings, removing it, storing it, that we get to take out of the proceeds too. They signed a letter off on that, or an agreement. So pretty much we break even is what pretty much happens in this whole thing.
Well, at least we cover our costs.
Yes.
All right, with that, I guess we'll move on to board-appointed committee updates.
I have an update from the Callahan Mud Lake District. They had their second annual meeting on Saturday, and we had election of officers and presentation by the Northwest Regional Planning Committee, which was hired to do the lake assessment. They are planning a joint meeting with the town, the Lake District, the county, at Jacob Druffner's DNR suggestion, and the highlights of that meeting will be establishing ownership of the dam and doing a dam analysis, hazard analysis. And then so we can get some information from the engineer on what has to be done in the meantime for maintenance until we can get a new dam built. And so that's the information from that.
Do you know when that meeting will be? Yeah.
Hasn't set a date yet, but he'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Steve, I got one. It's not from another committee, but our local Rotary Club here in Hayward has Bill Johnson from Futurewood coming to speak about that aviation fuel plant coming in on September 2nd at noon at the Social downtown. So I know I get a lot of questions. I don't know if you guys are as well, but may as well hear it from the horse's mouth if you want to know, or you know anybody who's interested in learning more about it. It's going to be at noon on Wednesday, September 2nd at the Social. And it's open to the public.
Okay, thank you. If there's nothing else there, we'll go on to the next item, correspondence reports from conferences and meetings. Future agenda items. Finalization of business. We've got at least one thing to sign. Committee, so we'll do that. And once that is done, we'll move down the agenda and look at our next meeting date and time, which is September 9th at 8:30. Once all those things are signed, we can adjourn.